Welcome back to the channel. Manchester United latest transfer news. Now, with the season ending for Manchester United in claiming Champions League football, it's now turned Ollie's attention to the transfer market with quite a few days in between our next game in the Europa League. A lot of the journalists and newspapers are reporting on potential transfers, and it's already started to really hot up for Manchester United. Most of the news coming out is Manchester United related. It's going to be Manchester United related, and every fucker and his dog is going to be linked with Manchester United this summer. We know that it's going to happen, and the same name's going to get regurgitated over and over again, and most of it's going to be bullshit, but there will be some facts to the articles and truth to some of the reports coming out as well. Now, the main players that again linked with Manchester United are obviously Jadon Sancho is still getting linked with Manchester United, has been for a very long time now. And there was reports from Germany that a bid had been placed for Jadon Sancho, but then by top journalists, reliable tier 1 journalists, it seemed to get dismissed that Manchester United haven't made a bid for Jadon Sancho. Now, the problem, I think this transfer is going to drag on and on all summer, I really do, for Manchester United. I think that it's going to be a case of another Wan-Bissaka sort of deal where Manchester United don't want to pay the asking price that Dorman want for Jadon Sancho, which is going to be at least 100 million or probably 120 million euros, which is a lot of money, and it seems that Manchester United are wanting to test the water on around 80 to 89 million pounds or euros, whatever you're looking at, and that is a lot less than their valuation. And we've seen with Harry Maguire and Wan-Bissaka that we tried to haggle with the fees on both of them occasions, and we ended up paying over the odds for Harry Maguire, and I think we got an okay deal for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And then in January we ended up getting Bruno Fernandes for a relatively decent amount of money in the end, considering how well he has done for Manchester United. But it was one of them, you did look at his goals and assists in Portugal and you thought, wow, he's going to hit some decent numbers still in the Premier League, but he's taken the game to the a decent level in the Premier League that we didn't think he would take to straight away, to be honest, with Bruno Fernandes. And that is the only gamble when buying overseas players. Are they going to continue the form that they're showing abroad? A lot of them obviously will step it down a bit because the Premier League is a lot tougher league than, say, a Portuguese league. And that may be the case for Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho has hit massive numbers again this season. He has been incredible, and he's been a player that I've watched since he played in the Manchester City Academy. Him and Mason Greenwood were the two players in recent years that I've just looked at and thought, wow, in the under-18s. But he still wasn't hitting the numbers that obviously Mason Greenwood has been hitting for the under-18s and now done it in the first team. But he's got 20 goals and almost 20 assists this season for Borussia Dorman. Absolutely sensational, really. Can he replicate that in the Premier League? That is the problem. He is still only young, and I think he will definitely improve. We will just have to wait and see. I think some of the teams in Germany are probably not at the level that you would get from the Premier League, although I don't think the Premier League is at its strongest right now. So it does remain to be seen how well he will do, whether he will hit the ground running if he does come to Manchester United. But I do want Jadon Sancho to come to Manchester United. It will give us a lot better competition when you look, if he plays on that right hand side, if he plays behind the number 9, or if he plays on the left hand side. Either way, I think he's going to be an effective player for Manchester United next season if we do sign him. I do believe that it probably will eventually get done, but it could drag on this saga all summer. I mean, I'm not expecting him to hit 20 goals and 20 assists in terms of in the Premier League alone next season. No, I think that it's going to probably be a bit more of a squad rotation for Manchester United next season, because towards the end of this season we've only started looking good when we've got better players out there on the pitch. Obviously, when you look back to that Burnley game, a lot of changes to the squad has happened since then, but with our front three pretty much set in stone now who the front three are. And if you drop one of them front three, it really does drop in quality for Manchester United. And if you're dropping Greenwood out, giving him a rest, or he's injured or whatnot, the level of quality, if you're bringing in Jadon Sancho, or if Jadon Sancho's out and you bring in Greenwood, or if Rashford's out and you're bringing in Greenwood, whoever the three are up front, out the four, it is going to be mint. It really is. I mean, Jadon Sancho is a young geezer as well. He's only like 20, and he's got years ahead of him yet in the game. So we're buying a young and up-and-coming star potentially, and potentially one of the best wide players or false number 9s or whatever in world football right now, in my opinion. So it will be a great signing if Manchester United can get it over the line, and I really would approve of that one. One thing we've got to do this summer is got to give Ollie what he wants for Manchester United. In the past, certainly with Jose Mourinho, we didn't give him what we wanted in that next season after we finished runners-up in the league. That third season went to absolute rat shit, didn't it? Because we didn't give him the tools that he needed to finish the job off, to get closer to Man City, and it just went absolutely fucking horseshit. We brought in the likes of Fred, Delot, Lee Grant, just not good enough signings. And Jose Mourinho was moaning because he wanted better signings and he didn't get them. And Solskjaer's not going to be kicking off, swearing and all shit if we don't get the signings that he wants. But we really do need to make these signings, because the hard work really starts now. It really does. To close that gap, to win the title, is now the real hard part for Manchester United. We've got to be closing that gap next season. And with the strength and depth that we have, we're just not going to do that. Now, the other player I'm going to be talking about now is Jack Grealish. They're the two names that are obviously pretty much in the talk at the moment. And whereas I wasn't really a massive fan of Manchester United bringing in Jack Grealish some weeks ago, but the one thing I would say is because I'm not too sure that Jack Grealish will improve Manchester United's starting lineup. That is my main concern. And when bringing in players, I would like players to come in that can go straight into that first team and improve the first team. Now, I don't think he's better than Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba. Them players, I don't think he is certainly better than Bruno Fernandes. I don't think so. Post-lockdown, he did only score 1 goal, but he was playing for Aston Villa. So if he does come to Manchester United, he'll be playing in a better team. The reports are in the papers that if he comes to Manchester United, they cannot guarantee that he will be starting week in, week out, which we do understand that. But there are reports that he would be open to a move to Manchester United, and did reports before where even if Aston Villa stay up in the Premier League, he would like to leave. The real problem for Manchester United is that he is going to cost in the region of £80 million, which is an absolute shit for Manchester United. If we want to get a player in that can come into games, not always start, 80 million is a fucking rip-off. It really is. I don't think he's worth that sort of money. Maybe he'll prove me wrong if he comes to Manchester United and he will step his game up another level from what he's done at Aston Villa. But for that sort of money, I would want better value for money, to be honest. But it would be great that Manchester United could bring a Jack Grealish into the starting lineup when Bruno Fernandes, as we've seen in the last few weeks, I mean, I don't know what's happened to Manchester United in the last maybe three or four games, but we've looked lackluster, we've looked sloppy, we've looked a bit tired, jaded, and maybe that's because the likes of Bruno Fernandes and Mason Greenwood are playing nearly every minute of every game for Manchester United, barring that game against Chelsea in the FA Cup. Mason Greenwood's been starting pretty much every game recently, and Bruno Fernandes has barely been given much of a rest either. And maybe that's the problem. We haven't been able to rotate, and bringing someone like Grealish in may help Manchester United, because we're going to be playing 50, 60 games again next season, and we need that squad depth, definitely. So if we do get him, I would be happy, but for that price, I think we could look better elsewhere. Anyway, they're the only two that I'm talking about today. There hopefully will be some others to really gouge into over the coming weeks, but there's not really much. I mean, there are a few names touted for the centre-back position, which is another position I think Manchester United may choose to strengthen. I think we will probably be looking at 3 or 4 signings, but nothing real concrete set in stone at the moment. But they're the main two. If you were looking at players that you would think at this moment in time will come to Manchester United, they're probably 2 of the higher rated transfers at this moment in time. They may not happen, but you would say that them 2 are probably up there, almost at the top of the list of players that you would say Manchester United would probably be signing come the end of the transfer window. Anyway, we'll be back again if any news breaks to digest it down for you and just to see what everyone thinks about the transfer window. I mean, it started before the end of Manchester United season because we've still got the Europa League, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But we will have to just wait and see what happens with these transfers. It may be a bit different in previous years because of the coronavirus, but we will just have to wait and see. But hopefully Manchester United can back the man this summer. We've got to back him. He's done his bit. He's got us third position in the league, which is what we wanted at the start of the season. Our goal was to get back into the Champions League. And if we can win a trophy as well, he is at least satisfied what Manchester United fans and what pundits and people in football were expecting Manchester United to do. So he's not exceeded the expectations, but he's met the expectations that were set at the start of the season. So then it's for Manchester United, for Ed Woodward and the Glazers to spend some money, get Manchester United some better players in for the squad depth, to improve the overall depth of the squad in terms of quality, to get Manchester United back challenging for the title. And without some additional signings, I don't think Manchester United will be able to last a full season and close the gap on Liverpool and Manchester City. I just think it will be just too hard for Manchester United to do it, because with our starting lineup is good enough to rival everyone, I think, in the Premier League. We've beaten nearly every top team in the Premier League, bar Liverpool, this season. And I mean, that's just shown that we've beaten the likes of Man City, Chelsea. We've beaten these sort of sides at times comfortably and very, very well away from home as well. So we've proved that we can do it against these teams, but it's getting that consistency, which we did see after the lockdown. We saw a consistency against the smaller teams, which we hadn't had. But you won't do that over a full season if you don't have the squad, in my opinion, because you're going to pick up injuries, suspensions and stuff like that, and it just weakens our squad too much. And if he's not backed in the summer, then this could go pear-shaped for Manchester United. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on the two transfers I've just covered in this video, and I'll talk to you all again soon. See ya.